July 28. My precious Varenka. Ach, Varenka, Varenka, this time the sin is on your side and your conscience. You completely upset and perplexed me by your letter, and only now, when at my leisure I looked into the inmost recesses of my heart, I saw that I was right, perfectly right. I am not talking of my drinking. That's enough of it, my dear soul, that's enough. But about my loving you, and that I was not at all unreasonable in loving you, not at all unreasonable. You know nothing about it, my darling. Why, if only you knew why it all was, why I was bound to love you, you wouldn't talk like that. All your reasoning about it is only talk, and I am sure that in your heart you feel quite differently. My precious, I don't even know myself, and don't remember what happened between me and the officers. I must tell you, my angel, that up to that time I was in the most terrible perturbation. Only imagine, for a whole month I had been clinging to one thread, so to say. My position was most awful. I was concealing it from you, and concealing it at home, too. But my landlady made a fuss and a clamor. I should not have minded that. The wretched woman might have clamored, but for one thing it was the disgrace, and for another, she had found out about our friendship, God knows how, and was making such talk about it all over the house that I was numb with horror and put wool in my ears. But the worst of it is that other people did not put wool in theirs, but pricked them up on the contrary. Even now I don't know where to hide myself. Well, my angel, all this accumulation of misfortunes of all sorts overwhelmed me utterly. Suddenly I heard a strange thing from Fedora, that a worthless profligate had called upon you and had insulted you by dishonorable proposals. That he did insult you deeply, I can judge for myself, my darling, for I was deeply insulted myself. That crushed me, my angel, that overwhelmed me and made me lose my head completely. I ran out, Varenka dear, in unutterable fury. I wanted to go straight to him, the reprobate. I did not know what I meant to do. I won't have you insulted, my angel. Well, I was sad, and at that time it was raining, sleet was falling, it was horribly wretched. I meant to turn back. Then came my downfall. I met Emelian Ilyich. He is a clerk, that is, was a clerk, but he is not a clerk now because he was turned out of our office. I don't know what he does now, he just hangs about there. Well, I went with him. But there, Varenka, will it amuse you to read about your friend's misfortunes, his troubles, and the story of the trials he has endured? 3 days later, that Emelian egged me on, and I went to see him, that officer. I got his address from our porter. Since we are talking about it, my dear, I noticed that young gallant long ago. I kept an eye upon him when he lodged in our buildings. I see now that what I did was unseemly, because I was not myself when I was shown up to him. Truly, Varenka, I don't remember anything about it. All I remember is that there were a great many officers with him, else I was seeing double, goodness knows. I don't remember what I said either. I only know that I said a great deal in my honest indignation. But then they turned me out, then they threw me downstairs. That is, not really threw me downstairs, but turned me out. You know already, Varenka, how I returned. That's the whole story. Of course, I lowered myself and my reputation has suffered. But after all, no one knows of it but you. No outsider knows of it. And so it is all as though it had never happened. Perhaps that is so, Varenka. What do you think? The only thing is, I know for a fact that last year Aksenti Osipovich in the same way assaulted Pyotr Petrovitch, but in secret. He did it in secret. He called him into the porter's room. I saw it all through a crack in the door. And there he settled the matter, as was fitting, but in a gentlemanly way, for no one saw it except me, and I did not matter. That is, I did not tell anyone. Well, after that, Pyotr Petrovitch and Aksenti Osipovitch were all right together. Pyotr Petrovitch, you know, is a man with self-respect, so he told no one, so that now they even bow and shake hands. I don't dispute, Varenka, I don't venture to dispute with you that I have degraded myself terribly, and, what is worst of all, I have lowered myself in my own opinion. But no doubt it was destined from my birth, no doubt it was my fate, and there's no escaping one's fate, you know. Well, that is an exact account of my troubles and misfortunes, Varenka, all of them, things such that reading of them is unprofitable. I am very far from well, Varenka, and have lost all the playfulness of my feelings. Herewith I beg to testify to my devotion, love, and respect. I remain, dear Madam Varvara Alexeyevna, your humble servant, Makar Devushkin.